Hello guys, it's Lazy Noof here once again with another video focused on modding for Space Engineers 2. Today I'm talking about a add-on for Blender that I've just made. I'm going to go through what it is, but if you do mod for Space Engineers 2, this is probably going to be as useful to you at some point. Um, for this, um, I'm using one of my old Blender projects, which was the TIE Interceptor. It is available on the Steam Workshop, but essentially it breaks the TIE Interceptor up into like cockpit, wings, engine. I call it detail, but it's actually like the power things on the outside of the wings. Um, but essentially, it makes these into blocks. You can fit it all together. You can fly a TIE Interceptor and shoot blasters. It's cool. Um, anyway, I'm using my wings here as an example, so I kind of got these out. Now, normally when you've got a bunch of things like this, how you make fractures, you grab your thing, you do it, you assign, and just make sure it's there. But you do this for all of these, which in this case is 14. So that'd be 14 fractures inside this wing. You then export your item, and then you remove all your fractures out of here and move on to your next item and so on and so forth until you've got it all done. You then export it all into the SDK, and then you find out you've made a terrible mistake somewhere, which is normally how it goes. And you've come back and you need to re-export your fractures, or you need to do something or other. You've accidentally deleted something, or you need to just change something slightly. But in any case, you want to re-export your fractures. Now, what you're going to do is, again, add it all. And if you've got a lot of fractures, this is going to be annoying to do and takes up a bunch of time. And I can't be bothered doing it. I've going to have to make fractures for my pipes mod soon, and that's going to be a lot because there's already 40 odd models in there. That's going to be a pain. So what I've come up with the concept of fracture objects. You'll see we've got this little drop down menu here, and all it is an add-on that I've made. And what it does, if I drop this down, is it adds this section here, and here's two groups I've added, or two objects, sorry, I've added later. I've added earlier, not later. Let's just remove that. So let's go over this. So first of all, you're going to have this here. It's going to say whether it's linked or not to V-Rays tools, which is obviously what we're using, V-Rays tools. And this is because we need at least one fracture in here in order for this to link up and for us to do the other things that we need to do, or at least some of them. Once we have at least one fracture, you can then go to this list. And for example, if I do the upper, which is this wing here, and I hit restore to V-Rays tools and I click it, you'll see that I suddenly get 14 fractures, which is the exact same as what I told you this wing was made up as. And if we then now hit select, you'll see that my wing is starting to be selected. And that is because obviously if we go into wings, you will see that I'm selecting both colliders and geometry. So just select just one. You'll see wing collider 11 and wing upper 11 has been selected. So these are our fracture groups for our wing upper. I say we can remove these without any kind of issue. The information for those fractures is now saved into these fracture objects, which we can rename by double clicking. So we can just rename this like whatever we want, and just there we go. Just change that back. It tells us in brackets at the side how many fracture groups are in the object. In this case, it's 14 of each. If we try and restore without a fracture being here, it'll just say VRT add-on not active, and we just need to add ourselves a fracture in there so we can restore these. You'll see here we've got an overwrite ticked. So what that is if I select these, so it is the top one I've got selected. If I now restore the lower and restore it, what it will do is it will overwrite the items in here. So you don't have to go through and manually start doing this every single time. You can just simply restore, and it will, it'll just completely overwrite what's already there. If you don't have that ticked and you do it, just hit restore, as you'll see, it just adds a bunch again. Now, because these are duplicately named, what you'll find is if you select fracture one and just hit select, it'll just select fracture one of both, even though it doesn't like highlight here, it will do. And you can just keep going through and it'll select the fracture 6 whatever of each object, even though we've now got a bunch of those in there. I don't know if that would ever be useful for anything. It's just there because I thought, why not? So leave that override ticked on. These will stay here even when you restart Blender, so they are properly saved. So you can just have them all saved there, load, grab what you want, and instantly be able to restore your fractures. So if you've made like a mistake with one fracture, you don't have to recreate. You don't have to go through the process of making, faulty fractures again. You can just find the one that's not right and fix it. The only thing is, if you do wish to save, so for example, I've just restored wing lower here. Let's say that I fixed something in it, so these are now right and this is wrong. What I would have to do is I can either save this first or delete this and then save this. It doesn't make much of a difference. If I hit save current, it will make a new fracture object there. And I'll just want to remove the other one and rename this to wing lower. And that's all that information now into there, and you can now safely just remove all of those if you want, obviously apart from the last one. There's another feature in here as well. If you look down at the bottom here, you'll see it's got a filter, select matching, select non-matching, and I've got col in there. And that's because when I do colliders on things, I usually have col in them. Usually it's underscore COLL at the end, but in this case I was lazy. You can change this to whatever you want. It is editable, and you just hit select matching and it will select the matching items out of the group you have selected, which is super useful if you've not been in there a long time. All this is collapse and you just want to grab a copy of your fractures or something like that. You can simply just select matching. Select non-matching will select your geometry by process of elimination, or name this to whatever your naming convention is. So really useful if you've got a file with more than one item in and you want to keep everything organized. Super great if you ever find yourself in the situation where you've got to go and export those fractures again, or edit something with the fractures. You've got all your fractures saved. You just need to restore the one that you want to edit, mess around with it, resave it, and delete the old one. And yeah, this will be on my Discord available for download. It's not gonna charge money or anything for it. Just come join in. There'll be a link to my Discord at the bottom of the YouTube video, or just shoot me a message. But yeah, just thought it'd be a nice handy little thing, and it is in the preferences here. Just this one, fracture object experience tools integrated there. So yep. Let me know if there's any bugs. I haven't come across any, but you know what they say. All right, take care, guys. Have a great rest of your day.